What up, world? R.I.C.H coming right back at you. And today, we got to talk about the video the feds just leaked of Pooh Shiesty and Gucci Mane. And I'm going to say this right off the rip. Everybody charged in this case is presumed innocent until found guilty. But if the video is what prosecutors say it is, this is one of the biggest crash outs hip-hop has ever seen. Not just because of the alleged robbery. Not just because of the contract, because somebody was so worried about looking powerful that they allegedly recorded the very thing that could bury their ass. That is not street smart. That is recording your own downfall in HD.
That shit what shit. You dropping this done deal.
Bro, let them know
It's a
you
done
going
deal.
on, bro.
Why is it done deal?
Let them know you dropping me,
I
bro.
drop you.
No, say it.
Pooh Shiesty dropped from 1017.
Shout out to real nigga ain't never did no police shit or none of that, bro. Tell them what's going on.
Bro, we just did that. That's done.
What you do?
You dropped. You said you want to be dropped. You dropped.
You signed the paper
I
and
signed the
everything.
paper. It's done.
I don't know how anybody could watch that video and think that that was mutual. You can hear it in Gucci's voice. You can feel the pressure in the room through the screen. And when a man tries to leave and a gun comes out, that is not a business meeting no more. That is survival. The audacity of Pooh Shiesty blows me away. You allegedly set the man up, put him in a position to say what you wanted him to say, then try to make him act normal for the camera like this is some friendly label release. This is a slap in the face on top of the alleged robbery. And then the part where Pooh Shiesty is trying to get Gucci to say he ain't never did no police stuff. You gotta be kidding me. You can't put a man in a life or death situation, then try to lock him in the street rules after you already violated the street rules your damn self. The moment a gun came out at a business meeting, the code was broken. You don't get to create danger and then tell the victim how to act on camera. And that brings me to the part I really want to talk about. The if that was me people. Every time something like this happens, here comes the comment section action heroes. If that was me, I would have took the gun. If that was me, I would have jumped over the table. If that was me, I would have went out like John Wick in that studio. Stop lying. These people watch one video from the safety of their couch and start writing a whole movie scene in their head. They would have grabbed the Draco, kicked the door open, dove over the console, saved everybody in the room, and walked out with no scratches. That is internet tough. Real life don't move like that. When a gun comes out and people are blocking the exits, when other people's lives are connected to your next move, pride can get somebody killed. Gucci Mane wasn't sitting there thinking about how the internet was gonna feel about his toughness. He was thinking about getting home. That's what a grown-ass man does. He reads the room, he calculates the danger, he chooses life over ego. And I don't care how many of y'all street commentators don't like that. A man with a wife, children, money, history, and people around him don't have to die in a damn studio to prove he's real. Sometimes real is keeping yourself calm when every instinct in you wants to react. Sometimes real is knowing that the loudest move is also the dumbest move. Gucci got out of that room alive. That was the win.
An update on Pooh's case, and because this alleged video came out, so let me tell you a couple things. The benefit that they're having in this video is allegedly him getting out of a contract which he never got out of. He never used. Nothing ever happened from it. So it doesn't change my argument that this is not a federal kidnapping charge. This is not a federal case in itself because it can't come in with the Commerce Clause. They didn't prove anything with these cell phones that were allegedly used, that there had some sort of cell phone information, that they communicated something with a cell phone. That was not used. So all these different things take it out of the federal realm of charging a crime. That was my original argument. It's still my argument. Number three of my number 1, 2, and 3. One is that it's a dirty trick by the U.S. Attorney's Office to release evidence. Number 2 is that it still doesn't meet the definition. Number 3 in that realm of what is important in this alleged video is that it does not show Pooh with a weapon. Again, they said that Pooh had this AK-47, this alleged AK-47, and it doesn't show Pooh.
This is why the video changes the temperature. Earlier, there were questions about what a video was and whether the government had the hard evidence people were talking about. That is what a defense attorney is supposed to do. But now this video is out, and the very thing people thought didn't exist is now in everybody's phone. I'm not going to speculate on how the feds got it. People online are saying Big 30 cooperated. Some people are saying they recovered it through technology. People are saying a lot of things because the internet loves filling in the blanks. Until there's proof, I'm not putting that on Big 30. But I will say this, when the government gets its hands on a video people thought was gone, that does change the situation. And if prosecutors can authenticate that video, which I'm pretty sure they have because they leaked it, they can connect the people in that room and match it to the rest of their evidence. That's a serious problem because a jury don't have to understand rap politics to understand pressure. They don't have to know about 1017. They don't care about who was supposed to be realer than who. They can look at a man trying to leave, a weapon entering the moment, and somebody being told what to say. That speaks plain English to regular people. And that is why recording this, if the allegations are true, was beyond stupid. They allegedly wanted a video to show power. Now, the video shows duress. They wanted a camera to make Gucci look controlled. Now, that same camera may make the government story look simple. That is the irony of street ego. Sometimes the thing that you think makes you look feared is the same thing that makes you look guilty. And let's talk about this forced contract release. If a man signs a paper under a gun, what do you really think you want? That is not business. That's panic with a signature attached. A contract signed under a threat is not a flex. It is evidence that something went wrong in that room. So when people say Gucci won, I understand what they mean because he at home. The alleged forced release don't free anybody if it was done under duress. And now the video that people thought would humiliate Gucci is making a lot of people look at Pooh Shiesty like he might have walked himself into a federal nightmare.
I don't think that's going to happen. That looks like a real video. It looks like when the police reports first came out, it was clear there was no surveillance cameras inside the recording studio room where the kidnapping happened. And so Pooh had a chance. The security guard who gets robbed at gunpoint of his Rolex watches, Pooh could say, that's not me. But the thing was going to be, is Gucci going to testify and say what happened in the room? Gucci will probably still have to testify if Pooh makes him by taking it to trial. But more than likely, Pooh's going to need to cop out a plea because the federal sentencing guidelines are so bad. How do you take out a camera in the room with no surveillance and then record that? Drugs. That has to be drugs. This is truly a lesson in life, ladies and gentlemen. This world is delicate and fragile. And if you have opportunity and you waste it, or worse, you bury yourself, it's over. You only live once.
When attorneys start saying it looks bad, that don't mean the case is over. The government still has to prove its case. But let's not play dumb. This video is the kind of thing that can hit a jury in the chest. And this is where that if that was me crowd gets even more ridiculous. They are judging Gucci like this was a fair fight. It was not. They are acting like a man should have risked a room full of lives just so strangers online can say he stood on business. That is childish. Standing on business is not always about reacting first. Sometimes standing on business is surviving the setup and letting the consequences come later. Gucci Mane didn't look weak to me. He looked like a man who understood that the first responsibility in that room was not to entertain the internet. The first responsibility was to make sure nobody died. That is why I can't respect nobody calling him soft. If you have never had to make a decision with a gun in your face, stop pretending you know exactly what you would do. You might freeze, you might talk, you might say whatever keeps the temperature down just so you can make it out. And none of that makes you less than a man. It makes you human. The internet has people thinking the only response to danger is more danger. That's how a fool thinks. A grown man knows the difference between courage and suicide. And if Gucci tried to play hero and somebody got killed, those same if that was me niggas would be online talking about he should have stayed calm. That is why you can't live your life for people who only have courage after the video comes out. Now look at Pooh Shiesty's side of this, if these allegations are true. This man had a career, had fans waiting on him. He had a name that still meant something in rap. But that street image can make a man think that fear is more valuable than freedom. That is a terrible trait. Fear does not pay your lawyers. Fear don't raise your children. Fear don't give you them years back if the federal judge takes them away. And that is why Gucci's Crash Dummy song hits even harder now. When he said he thought it was a business meeting, but it was a setup, that don't sound like rap bragging no more. That sounds like betrayal. Because if the government is right, this was not just some random street problem. This was somebody Gucci helped put in position, turning a contract dispute into a gunpoint situation. And the sad part is that the internet will hype up a crash out until that sentence comes. But the person facing life in prison has to sit with them consequences after the comments stop. That is what y'all young rappers need to understand. That camera ain't your friend when you're doing something that can become evidence. And if that was me, people are definitely not your friends because they will talk you into a grave or cell from the comfort of their phone. So I'm going to take it out like this. Gucci Mane did what a man with something to lose is supposed to do. He survived the room. Pooh Shiesty, if these allegations are true, did what most of y'all crash outs do. He let an ego turn a problem into a federal case. The video that was supposed to make Gucci Mane look like he got played actually shows that Pooh Shiesty played itself. That's the real story. Y'all, if that was me, niggas can talk all day. But when you are the one sitting in that room with them guns out, with people around you and your family waiting on you to come home, the best move is not the move that sounds tough online. The best move is the one that keeps you alive. Gucci got home. That matters more than any John Wick fantasy in the comment section. But hey, that's just my opinion. What's yours? Like, comment, subscribe, establish rich. I'll be back with another one. Hey.